Well, economic power, according to what I have written in the Word Guide and in the basic book, too. What is economics? Economics is the use of your time and energy. And that's what black people do have some control over. And one of the first things that black people should do, if you start talking about economics, I'm not even talking about money, because when we think about economics, we have been taught that economics is all about how money is moved around. No, economics, basic economics, is how you use your time and energy. So the white supremacists see to it that their victims use their time and energy to support white supremacy. We all support white supremacy because we are prisoners of war. And so far, we have lost the war. But we have lost all the battles in the war. You haven't really lost the war until you stop trying to win the war. Okay? So you're trying to replace the system of white supremacy with the system of justice. That should be the reason for our existence. Okay? So, your time and energy, economics being the use of your time and energy, the little time and energy that they allow black people to have when we are not, nose to the grindstone working every day, on a direct assignment from, either directly or indirectly, from the white supremacists. How do black people use their time and energy? Let's look at how we use our time and energy when we get a little time off. How do we usually use it, particularly in the northwestern hemisphere? We go looking for each other, and that is a huge problem right there. If you stop and think about it, the average black person, once they get a little, what you might call, time to yourself, after you fool around and do a little of this and do a little of that, wash the dishes or see to it that your clothes get to the laundry and all like that, then what is the next thing that the average black person does? Goes looking for other black people. Now, is that a problem? Yes, that's a huge problem. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when we go looking for each other, we don't have a constructive agenda. So that's why I put it in the code book. You are not supposed to make me or any person of color is not supposed to ever make contact with another person of color or with any person, including white people, unless we have a constructive reason for doing so. You've got to rack your brains and say, now, if I pick up this phone, this iPad and whatnot, and I'm going to make a phone call, is this phone call going to have a constructive outcome? Guaranteed. You got to think about that in advance. Now, if you can't pretty well, as best you can, come to the conclusion, this is going to be a very important call, very constructive. It's going to help somebody do something constructive, either myself or someone else, or the two of us together, or a group of us together. Is it going to have a constructive result? If it's not, if you can't really perceive why you're making this call, that you're just making it just so you want to talk, don't do it. Now, that's a simple thing, but that's going to be a very difficult thing for the average black person to do, particularly in the northwestern hemisphere, because we call it our black lifestyle.
Yes, sir.
And it is pure death, because that's what it usually ends up being. Because when we make contact with each other, the record shows that for the most part, because we are very toxic people, we are poisonous people, we spread poison. We got to face up to that. That's the truth.